Good morning. Welcome to Morning Special. 여러분 안녕하세요. 11월 22일 금요일 최수진의 Morning Special입니다. We're all familiar with the importance of sleep. For some, it's the most rewarding part of the day. For others, it's the first step towards having a successful day. But for growing kids, sleep seems to be far more important than ever, as it can affect their overall health, including weight control. 수면 시간이 짧은 소아 청소년의 경우 비만 위험이 높아진다는 국내 연구 결과가 나왔습니다. 연구팀은 대상자를 매우 짧은 수면 시간, 짧은 수면 시간, 권장 수면 시간, 그리고 긴 수면 시간 이렇게 4개의 그룹으로 나눠 연구를 진행했는데요. 그 결과 수면 시간이 짧을수록 비만과 과체중일 확률이 높아지는 것으로 나타났습니다. 권장 수면 시간 그룹을 기준으로 했을 때 수면 시간이 매우 짧은 그룹은 비만과 과체중의 비율이 각각 1.7배와 1.8배 높았고요. 복부 비만을 의미하는 허리둘레는 1.5배가 더 컸습니다. 또 주목할 만한 점은 권장 수면 시간보다 길게 자는 것도 비만 위험을 높인다고 하네요. We certainly can't undermine the importance of sleep, and it seems like having a good night's rest is the first step towards a healthy future. With that in mind, let me give you the first quiz question of the day today. Here it is. Another way of saying go to bed is to 1번 hit the sack, 2번 hit the door, 3번 hit the nose. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있습니다. 여러분의 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 저자극 순한 비누 보내드리겠습니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 단디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 여러분은 하루에 몇 시간씩 주무시나요? 여러분의 자제분은 또 하루에 몇 시간 자는지 궁금합니다. 이 연구는요, 미국 수면재단의 그 권장 수면 시간을 기준으로 했다고 합니다. 그래서 10살에서 13살 어린이들은 9시간에서 11시간을 자는 게 기준이었다고 하고요. 14살에서 18살 사이의 청소년들은 8시간에서 10시간을 자는 게 기준이었다고 하는데요. 이 수면 시간 자체가 사실은 좀 놀랍기도 하죠. 우리나라에서는 이렇게 좀 길게 잘 수 있는 청소년들이 많지 않은 것 같다는 생각도 들기도 하고요. 여러분은 어떤지 알려주시기 바라겠습니다. Okay, then let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
With the Hong Kong Polytechnic University siege stretching for a 5th day, police have continued arresting protesters as they exited the campus.
홍콩 이공대에 대한 경찰 포위가 닷새째 이어진 가운데 캠퍼스를 나와 경찰에 체포되는 시위대의 수가 계속 늘고 있습니다.
Iran's president has claimed victory following a deadly crackdown by security forces on protests over gasoline price rises.
하산 로하니 이란 대통령이 휘발유 가격 급등으로 전국적인 시위가 발생한 지 6일 만에 이란의 소요 사태에 대해 승리를 거뒀다고 선언했습니다.
Sri Lanka's new president has officially launched his government after swearing in his brother as interim prime minister.
고타바야 라자팍사 스리랑카 신임 대통령이 형인 마힌다 라자팍사 전 대통령을 총리로 임명했습니다.
Former U.S. State Secretary Henry Kissinger has warned that an armed conflict could break out between the United States and China if they fail to resolve their trade war.
헨리 키신저 전 미국 국무부 장관이 미중 양국이 냉전 단계 초입에 접어들고 있으며 1차 세계대전과 같은 전쟁으로 비화할 수 있다고 우려했습니다.
Oxford Dictionaries has declared climate emergency the word of the year for 2019.
영국 옥스퍼드 사전이 2019년 올해의 단어로 Climate Emergency, 기후 비상사태를 선정했습니다. Well, Steve has the headlines this morning, as always. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you. Did you sleep well last night?
I actually had a decent amount of sleep, I think. Did you?
I did. I usually take my naps in the daytime, so
That's
I go to
right,
bed
yeah.
quite late. But yeah, I usually have a nice sleep at night. But you know, you were talking about the importance of children getting their sleep. And it reminded me of when I was a child. You know, my mom, I think, was very, very smart. I didn't often hear the word no from her.
Very wise, yeah.
However, she did outsmart me many, many times. I remember I didn't want to go to sleep. Usually kids, they don't want to go to sleep at night, right? They
Very
want to
true.
stay up all night.
Yeah.
So instead of mom telling me, no, you have to go to sleep, I remember this. Mom said, okay, you can stay awake. But you have to stay awake all night and then go to school tomorrow morning. So there's no sleep, okay?
Wow.
Okay, no problem? And I thought, well, that doesn't sound very good. I'll just go to bed.
좋은 방법이네요.
Yeah.
자기 싫으면 자지 마. 근데 내일 아침까지 밤새고 학교 가야 되는데 괜찮겠어? 이렇게 어머니가 굉장히 현명하게 대처를 하셨군요.
Yeah, so maybe that's a good tip for parents if you're having trouble getting your kids to go to sleep at night.
Yeah. Obviously, you got a lot of sleep because you're so tall. They say if you get enough sleep, you're very tall and very small.
Is that what they say? If you get enough sleep, you grow up tall?
That's what they say. Yeah.
Do you have trouble with that? You know, getting the kids to sleep at night? And
Sometimes
Yeah?
I do. Depends on how energetic they were during the day. But yeah, sometimes.
what about the curfew? Because I think I've heard that that's a bit of a culture difference between the West and Korea. And what I mean is, in the West, parents typically have a strict bedtime.
Yeah, that's
you know,
right.
7 p.m. or 8 p.m.
Yeah.
At this, when boom, 8 p.m. It's time to go to sleep. But I've heard, and I don't know obviously, but I've heard that parents in Korea tend to just let their kids stay up until they want to go to sleep.
I think kids sleep less, definitely,
Yeah.
here in Korea, even when they're very young.
Probably school related too.
I don't know. I think maybe it is the culture or school. Even when you're just, a kindergartner, a lot of students, a lot of kids in Korea will go to bed at maybe 9-ish, which is still very late if you compare that to people in England, for example, who make their kids go to bed at 7, like you said, p.m.
Yeah, my friend Carl, who is from Montreal, he has since moved back to Canada, but I remember he has 2 little girls, 2 daughters, and it's so funny listening to his stories. And I asked him, do you give them a bedtime? And he said, dude, I have so much trouble just getting them to do anything that I want. I just let them sleep when they're tired.
Interesting. All right. Well, if you'd like to listen to the headlines again, you can do so and keep sending in your messages. We'll get round to those in just a bit. 여러분이 조금 전에 들으신 헤드라인은요, 모닝 스페셜 홈페이지 헤드라인 다시 듣기에서 무료로 다시 들으실 수 있습니다. 많은 이용 바랍니다. Let's go over the headlines.
Headline number 1 this morning: with the Hong Kong Polytechnic University siege stretching for a 5th day, police have continued arresting protesters as they exited the campus.
홍콩 이공대에 대한 경찰 포위가 닷새째 이어진 가운데 캠퍼스를 나와 경찰에 체포되는 시위대 수가 계속 늘고 있습니다.
So another group of the protesters has left the Polytechnic University campus and surrendered to police. This happening while Hong Kong's transport system returned to relative normalcy on Thursday morning. Police continued to seal off the site as the standoff entered into its 5th day, with still about 60 protesters barricaded inside and resisting pleas to hand themselves in.
More and more of the students and the protesters inside the university are now out of food, out of energy, and they are surrendering to the police, like you said. But there are still about 60 or so people left.
That's what they say. And in the early hours of Thursday, about 7 who had been holed up for days in the increasingly bad conditions, they sought medical treatment, and they left the grounds with paramedics where they were met by police there. A reporter on site also found that at least 20 laboratories had been broken into, some of them containing potentially explosive materials. And the university, together with Chinese University and City University, had earlier reported the theft of chemicals from their laboratories to police as well.
네, 전쟁터를 방북해 하는 사진이 외신을 통해서 보도가 되고 있는데요. 홍콩 이공대를 점거하고 있었던 시위대 중 많은 사람들이 이제 나와서 체포가 되고 있는 모습입니다. 굉장히 많이 지쳤다고 하고요. 음식도 거의 다 바닥이 났다고 하고 체육관 안에서 이렇게 지금 며칠째 지내고 있는데 그 사진도 제가 보니까 굉장히 지금 열악한 그런 조건 속에서 시위를 하고 있다 이렇게 추측이 가능합니다. 그럼에도 불구하고 아직 강경파 한 60명 정도가 남아있을 것이다 라고 외신은 추측을 하고 있고요. 앞서서 이제 어제 나왔던 시위대원들 중에는 몇 명은 굉장히 위독한 상태는 아니지만 어쨌든 이제 굉장히 많이 아파서 바로 병원으로 이송이 됐다라고 합니다. So yeah, they're out of food, like I said, very exhausted, but they're not giving up.
They are not giving up. And yeah, we talked about it in the recent days where people were stuck inside and some people wanted to leave and some people said, no, I'm not leaving because I don't want to turn myself in. But I think this was relatively predictable where, you know, you're going to run out of resources within the building, right? Eventually, anyway.
Right. Well, with that said, we do actually have a special phone link up today with a reporter, an editor/reporter for the South China Morning Post. Steve, could you introduce who's on the line this morning?
This is my friend Rob York. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning.
A pleasure to have you on the show with us. Thank you very much. I contacted you within the last couple of days and asked you if you could spare some moments for us to talk about the situation in Hong Kong because you were there. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're in Korea now. You arrived. When did you arrive? Not so long ago, right?
It was on Sunday night.
And you're off on Monday. That's correct?
Yeah, that's right.
But in Hong Kong, you were there, you know, as far as I know, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, back from when things started back in June up until almost last Sunday, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
If I can just interrupt and briefly introduce you in Korean. 지금 전화 연결을 한 분은요. South China Morning Post, 그러니까 홍콩을 대표하는 영자 신문의 편집 기자로 재직 중인 로브 욕 기자님입니다. 외신에서 많이 인용되는 South China Morning Post 직원이시고요. 지금 현재는 한국에 계시지만 그동안에 쭉 홍콩의 이 상황을 지켜보시고 홍콩에서 재직 중이셨기 때문에 상황에 대해서 오늘 전화 연결을 통해 알아보도록 하겠습니다.
All right, Rob, so I wanted to ask you, you know, when we go back to the start of this, when it started in June, it started out very peacefully. So from your perspective, being there at that time, what happened? What was the difference maker between the peaceful protests and then when things started to get a little bit violent?
See, the larger peaceful protests were taking place. They ended in June, really, but they had started a little bit before that in response to this extradition bill to China. And what happened was that even the large-scale peaceful demonstrations that topped more than 1 million people were not, how shall I say, regarded. They were not something that the Hong Kong government responded to. The Hong Kong government had proceeded with the extradition bill, so on the day that they were supposed to proceed with a vote, that's when the demonstrations really turned violent. The protesters began to fight with police, block traffic, and overall prevent the business of the Legislative Council from taking place. And, well, a big part of the reason why violence has persisted is because that is when the chief executive of Hong Kong finally acknowledged the unpopularity of the extradition bill and suspended it.
And
so that,
sure.
yes, in a sense taught the protesters that violence would work and that nonviolence was going to be ignored.
네, 그렇습니다. 그러니까 애초에는 굉장히 평화롭게 시위가 시작이 됐었지만 그때까지만 해도 홍콩 정부가 크게는 거기에 관심을 두지 않았던 것 같다라고 지금 기자님이 말씀을 해주셨는데요. 그렇지만 이제 송환법에 대한 절차가 점점 진행이 되면서 시위대가 더욱 더 조금 더 격렬한 모습을 보이기 시작했고 그때부터는 정부가 반응을 또 보였다 이렇게 말씀을 해주셨습니다. Now, Carrie Lam, though, as you said, she understood the unpopularity of the extradition bill, and eventually she did withdraw it. But that's not the only demand that the people there have, and the protests have been getting, let's say, out of hand. When would you say, or what would you say, was the trigger for that?
Let's see. The protesters, after she suspended it, were rather insistent that she withdraw it completely so that it no longer be considered part of legislative business. She had said several times that there was no way they were going to return to it, even if it was just suspended, but they insisted on withdrawal. They also insisted that there be an inquiry into police behavior, and also that there would be amnesty for those protesters who had been arrested in their clashes with police, and also that they begin discussions of a wider democratic process. They have been aspiring to see their chief executive their chief executive namely elected by popular vote rather than being essentially selected for them. Back in June, if the bill had simply been withdrawn, it's hard to say whether or not the protests would have spiraled beyond that point. But basically, because those demands were not answered, because the bill was merely suspended at the time, when it was finally withdrawn 2 months later, there was a sense that it's too little, too late, and they insisted on all 5 demands.
And did the anti-mask ban, do you think, have something to do with everything exploding?
Yeah, partially. The anti-mask ban has really been something that the government cannot truly enforce particularly well. People are still showing up with masks, even just to protest the mask ban. And after that law was instituted, the violence accelerated yet again. It has gone through phases where it has been particularly violent, and then it seems to waver in intensity, but then something happens that sets off the protests again, and that was one of the things.
네, 조금만 정리를 해드리자면은요, 그러니까 애초에는 송환법을 철회해달라라는 것이 시위의 가장 큰 어떤 목적이었지만, 한 6월 달쯤에 진작에 좀 철회가 됐더라면은 아마 지금의 이 상황까지는 오지 않았을 것 같다. 이렇게 기자님이 말씀을 해주셨습니다. 그런데 그 당시에 캐리 램 행정장관이 연기를 하겠다라고 얘기를 했을 뿐이지 철회를 한다라는 얘기를 하지 않았기 때문에 점점 더 시위는 격렬해진 모습이고요. 그리고 철회를 나중엔 했죠. 하지만 너무 늦었다라는 게 대부분의 시위대의 목소리였다고 합니다. 그리고 이 송환법 공식 철회만이 이 시위대의 요구사항이 아닙니다. 5가지 요구사항이 있는데 경찰의 강경 진압에 대한 독립적인 조사, 그리고 시위대의 폭도 규정 철회, 그 다음에는 체포된 시위대의 석방과 불기소, 그러니까 조건 없는 석방을 요구하고 있고요. 그 다음엔 마지막으로 행정장관 직선제를 실시하자라는 게 이 5가지 요구사항인데 이 모든 것을 지금 계속해서 요구하고 있다라고 얘기를 하고 있습니다. 어떻게 보면 홍콩 정부 측의 좀 늦장 대응이 이 시위의 규모를 더 크게 만든 게 아닌가 싶습니다.
Rob, the stories now that are starting to come out, we covered one the other day about the Chinese military coming out and jogging out to clear barricades and Hong Kong citizens joining them to help do so. We're also starting to see opinions pop up, quotes pop up from other Hong Kong citizens, non-protesting citizens, criticizing the protesters. So my question is, are the protesters starting to lose a little bit of support that maybe they had back in June when things began?
That is quite possible, particularly since the most recent escalation that followed the death of the one student protester. At that point, the protesters seemed no longer content to reserve their protests for weekends and national holidays and actually started to make them a daily occurrence and actually begin disrupting daily affairs in the city. And this is the time that the protests actually began to spread outside of the city and actually into the outskirts where I live. And I saw citizens actually arguing with protesters who had done things like block the street. So that it is possible, and certain scenes of violence, such as people being set on fire in particular, may have finally turned people toward the opinion that the protesters have gone too far. But it's difficult to say. At the same time that this has happened, there are still people protesting in the middle of the street who are not student radicals. They're actually office employees. So yeah, there's always been a division in the public, but there hasn't really been concrete polling done that could tell us exactly where they stand.
What can we expect to see? What is the general sentiment of the media in Hong Kong, or just the general sentiment overall? Are there concerns that the Chinese military is going to come in to try to quell the violence there? Or where do we see things going after this Polytechnic University situation?
It has been tricky to predict what will happen next, and I'd say that there has been a sense that the protesters will probably go on for some time, but at the same time their intensity tends to come and go. There are certain catalysts that have taken place that have caused the intensity to rise again, and if it is handled correctly, they may well burn themselves out. They're a good thing. Let's see, one thing that is key would be whether or not they actually have the legislative council, not legislative council, sorry, the district council elections on Sunday. If those take place, yes, that would help. If they do not, if they were canceled, I can imagine violence would kick up a notch yet again. Also, if the Chinese government makes good on its plan to overrule the courts, makes good on what it has threatened to do, which is to overrule the courts and their dismissal of the mask ban, then violence could flame up yet again. So the Chinese military intervention is still very much an option that you can tell Beijing is hesitant to use, because that would essentially be the end of the special arrangement that Hong Kong has as a trade and investment destination, and that is still very beneficial to mainland companies.
네, 그렇습니다. 일단은 스티브 선생님이 앞서서 시위대 지지층이 여전한지에 대한 질문을 주셨는데요. 일상생활이 지금 좀 힘들어지다 보니까 홍콩 시민들 중에도 이제 시위대에 불만을 표하는 그런 일반 시민들도 있다라는 얘기를 해주셨고요. 그다음에 앞으로의 상황에 대한 예측을 좀 부탁을 드렸는데, 지금 당장의 지금 이공대 시위라든지 여기는 좀 세력이 약화된 모습이기는 하지만 이제 이틀 후면은 홍콩의 구의원 선거가 있을 것이기 때문에 그때 또 다시 어떤 시위의 규모가 커질 수도 있겠다. 아직 정확하게는 말하기가 힘들다라고 하시면서도, 그렇지만 이제 홍콩의 여러 가지 경제적인 상황을 비춰봤을 때 아주 이렇게 커지지는 않지 않을까, 이렇게 추측을 해주셨습니다. 이상으로 사우스차이나모닝포스트, 홍콩을 대표하는 영자신문의 편집 기자인 로브 요크 기자님과의 전화통화였습니다.
Goodness me, Rob, we didn't even get a chance to talk about the bill that was just passed in the United States and what that means for the China-U.S. relations and how that relates to Hong Kong. We need 2 more hours to chat this morning.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Rob, for your time this morning.
Thank you, Robin. Please do be safe when you get back to Hong Kong.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, let's go on to our final headline of the day today.
Headline number 5 this morning. It is all about the word of the year. Oxford Dictionaries has declared climate emergency the word of the year for 2019.
네, 그렇습니다. 영국 옥스퍼드 사전이 2019년 올해의 단어로 climate emergency, 기후 비상사태를 선정했다는 게 또 오늘 헤드라인 중에 하나인데요. 그만큼 이제 climate와 관련된 단어들, 그전에는 global warming, climate change라는 표현을 많이 썼다면은 이제는 그냥 변화 정도가 아니라 비상사태다, 이런 의미가 있겠네요.
According to the dictionary's data, usage of climate emergency soared 10,796%.
Wow. All right. Well, it's time for us to remind our listeners of the quiz again. Could you help me out, Steve?
I could do a quiz question this morning. Another way of saying go to bed is to hit the blank. Is it number 1, hit the sack, number 2, hit the door, number 3, hit the nose?
짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 저자극 순한 비누 보내드리겠습니다. We'll be right back with our news focus stories after presidents of the United States of America sing Video Killed the Radio Star. You're listening to Morning Special. It was very nice to have an interview, a phone link up this morning with someone who's been in Hong Kong throughout the whole time, although right now he's temporarily in Seoul.
Yeah, he is in Seoul for a short time going back, but you're right. It was nice to speak with Rob this morning and get some perspective from someone who's actually been there for a long time. You know, you and I have talked off air about this. You know, you've had friends who have posted pictures from Hong Kong where you thought, wait a minute, is everything okay? Because their pictures looked okay, but they weren't in that area where everything was focused on. And Rob said that he lived outside of that area, but then the protests started to spread out a little bit. So it was nice to get almost a mental picture of that too.
Really was. All right, let's take a look at your messages. 남현정 님이요. 잠자리에 들다. 저는 잠자는 총 시간도 중요하지만 언제 잠자리에 드느냐가 더 중요한 것 같더라고요. 일찍 자면은 좀 덜 자도 몸이 가벼운 것 같아요. 라고 보내주셨습니다. Do you feel this way? If you go to bed earlier, do you feel more refreshed regardless of how many hours of sleep you have? No. 아니랍니다.
It doesn't seem to matter, does it? Sometimes you can sleep too long too, right? If you sleep too long. When I sleep too many hours, I wake up and my back hurts for some reason, and I feel groggier.
Yeah,
it's harder to wake. I feel like it's harder to wake up if you have a shorter sleep, but you feel better overall. Whereas if you sleep longer, you kind of naturally, slowly wake up and you feel okay, and then you think, oh, maybe I slept too many hours.
So, what's the best number of hours to sleep in a normal day?
In a night, you think?
In a night, yeah.
6, maybe 7.
Okay.
Depends on your schedule, I guess.
I think 7 hours is just great.
Yeah.
Anything maybe more than that might give me a headache.
Or if you can get 2 naps like me, you can spread it out throughout the day, right?
That's great too. Yeah. 1358님은요. 저희 중2 아들은 별명이 애벌레입니다. 평소에 집에서는 누워서 생활을 하고요. 주말만 되면 낮 12시에 일어나요. 사춘기 아들 때문에 이를 악물고 도닦아요. 라고 보내주셨습니다. Caterpillar is what 애벌레 means. And this listener says, my son... that's his nickname, Caterpillar. I've called him that because all he does is just lie down in bed all day and during the weekends. He doesn't get up until lunchtime. It's like a couch potato, I guess. Yeah.
When I leave the house almost every day, I say to my dog, feel free to take a look at the job section of the newspaper, you know. Contribute to the family a little bit. A little Arbeit work wouldn't kill you.
그래요. 그래도 잠을 잘 자면 좋은 거죠. 아마 키 정말 많이 클 겁니다. 지금 중2면은 키 엄청 많이 클 때잖아요. 네. 키 큰 아들을 위해서 우리 화이팅! 어머니도 화이팅! 어머니인지 아버지인지 잘 모르겠습니다만 부모님 화이팅 하도록 하겠습니다. 정수임님 안녕하세요. 수진쌤, 스티브쌤. 스티브쌤의 어머니는 정말 현명하신 것 같아요. 저도 아기하게 안 돼 대신에 현명하게 얘기하는 엄마가 되면 좋겠네요. Yeah, that was a great tip. To not say no.
Because I think if you say, no, go to bed, then you're going to fight.
Yeah, and you want to go to bed more when your parents say don't do something.
And usually as a parent, it's relatively easy to outsmart your child, I think, right? So you just have to think, how can I get them to do what I want them to do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And our writer
by
says,
the way, happy birthday, Mom.
Just in case it's your birthday today. Happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a terrible son. Paul had to remind me that it might be my mom's birthday today.
That's all right, Steve.
Yeah, but at least I slept well as a child.
Keep sending in your messages and answers to the quiz. If you have any suggestions or questions, send those in. We have 5 저자극 순한 비누 sets to give out in the first hour. Let's get to our news focus stories. 자, 첫 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 아주 어렸을 때부터 아이에게 책을 읽어주면 나중에 학습 능력이 좋아진다는 연구 결과가 나왔습니다. 뉴질랜드 오클랜드 대학 연구진은 생후 9개월 때 책을 자주 읽어준 아이들은 4.5세, 그러니까 4살 반이 됐을 때 언어와 수리 능력이 다른 아이들보다 더 뛰어났다고 밝혔는데요. Let's take a listen.
The Growing Up in New Zealand study, which is following about 6,000 children born in Auckland and the Waikato in 2009 and 10, has found that babies who were read to on a regular basis at 9 months had better language and number skills at age 4.5. On average, the 4-year-olds could name 8 letters of the alphabet within 1 minute, but some could name all the letters while a third couldn't name any. The study is believed to be the first of its kind to investigate whether the determinants of early learning success differ by ethnicity.
네, 뉴질랜드에서 했던 연구인데요. 아기에게 아무리 어려도, 사실 어리면 어릴수록 책을 읽어주는 것이 나중에 학습 능력에 크게 도움이 된다는 연구 결과가 나왔습니다. 재밌는 것은 이 연구에 참여했던 분들의 인종에 따라서도 좀 차이가 있었는데요. 특히 아시아계의 아이들은 훨씬 더 빨리 습득을 하는 것인지 이렇게 일찍 책을 읽어줬을 때 동일한 한 4살 반 이 정도 나이가 되면은 몇 개의 글자를 알아보는지 테스트를 해봤더니 가장 많이 읽을 수 있었다고는 하더라고요. 그렇지만 이건 이제 뭐 순전히 인종 때문이다라고 보기보다는 그 부모의 학력이라든지 여러 가지 배경을 좀 고려를 해야 되겠다라고도 연구진이 얘기를 했고요. 이런 것들을 만약에 다 배제한다라고 했을 때는 평균적으로 한 9개월 때부터는 책을 읽어주는 게 좋다라고 합니다.
I do have a little trouble with this study, though.
Okay,
because the Maoris, if you look at the statistics, came in at the lowest percentage, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the economic disparity, right? The Maori group are probably lower on the economic scale. So if you look at Laszlo's hierarchy of needs, and I'm totally digressing here, but if you are economically comfortable, then something like reading to your child is a luxury that you may have.
Many studies have proven that
Right.
the economic background and academic achievement have
Yeah.
a very close relationship or a correlation, I suppose.
So that's what I said when I have a little trouble with this, because if they say, oh, it's just ethnicity, well, that might, of course, not be the only determining factor.
Right,
of course,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But on average, they say make sure you read to your babies from around 9 months of age. That would be the average. Some mothers obviously read earlier, some later. It depends on the family.
9 months, really? I would have thought it would have been earlier, actually.
I mean, a lot of mothers do, and according to this study, it was the Asian mothers that read earlier, and therefore the babies were able to read more around the same age when they tested the babies at 4 years of age.
What about reading to the baby when it's still in the womb?
Oh, Koreans do that all the time, don't they?
That or putting headphones on mommy's tummy so the baby can hear a little music.
Do they do that in Canada or in the West?
I have no idea.
Okay. Maybe I'm asking the wrong person.
You're asking the wrong guy.
I see, okay. On a regular basis.
Yeah, so they found that moms who read to or parents who read to their children on a regular basis at 9 months had better language and number skills at age 4.5, the babies, not the moms. So to do something on a regular basis means that you do it regularly. So if I ask you, do you go to the gym? And your answer is yes, I go on a regular basis, that probably means you go twice or 3 times a week. It doesn't mean or it doesn't imply that you go once this week and then you skip 3 weeks and then you go twice on the 4th week and then you skip another 2 months. If you do something on a regular basis, you are doing it regularly.
네, 그렇습니다. 정기적으로 뭔가를 할 때 on a regular basis라고 할 수 있습니다. 9개월 정도의 나이의 아기에게 정기적으로, 그러니까 꾸준히 규칙적으로 책을 읽어주면은요, 한 4살 반 정도가 됐을 때 그렇게 책을 부모님이 읽어주진 않은 아이보다 훨씬 더 글을 빨리 깨쳤다, 이렇게 볼 수 있겠고요. 관련해서 문채원님이 8살, 11살도 저녁에 자기 전에 책을 읽어주려고 노력하고 있어요. 학습적으로는 둘째치고 정서적으로도 도움이 되는 것 같습니다. 라고 사연 보내주셨습니다. Okay, let's listen to this story one more time.
The Growing Up in New Zealand study, which is following about 6,000 children born in Auckland and the Waikato in 2009 and 10, has found that babies who were read to on a regular basis at 9 months had better language and number skills at age 4.5. On average, the 4-year-olds could name 8 letters of the alphabet within 1 minute, but some could name all the letters while a third couldn't name any. The study is believed to be the first of its kind to investigate whether the determinants of early learning success differ by ethnicity.
자, 두 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 10월 31일자로 예정됐던 영국의 브렉시트가 미뤄지면서 이를 기념하기 위해 만들어진 50펜스짜리 기념 주화들 역시 전량 폐기될 예정이라고 하는데요. 브렉시트 일정이 수차례 바뀌면서 주화에 새겨진 내용들이 무의미해졌기 때문입니다. Let's listen to the story.
1 million Brexit 50p coins have been made with the wrong date on them and will now have to be melted down, the Royal Mint has confirmed. Chancellor Sajid Javid had asked the Royal Mint to make Brexit celebration coins stamped with the date of October 31st, 2019, the mooted departure time. The Royal Mint paused production in mid-October when it became clear Brexit would be extended, but not before 1 million coins were made.
네, 1,000만 개의 기념 주화를 이제 찍어내기로 했었는데 이게 전부 다 폐기될 예정입니다. 50p. And a lot of these, 1 million of them, in fact.
A lot of them. You know,
1 million, is that right?
Yeah, I kind of chuckled because, you know, we were covering the story talking about whether the UK would meet that October 31st date. And I think if you had asked my opinion, or maybe many people's opinion, do you think it will actually happen? The popular opinion probably would have been, maybe not. However, you do kind of have to prepare for this type of thing.
Right.
It's reminiscent of when two sports teams are in the finals.
Can I just make a little correction with the numbers? Because you know what I'm like with numbers. 원래는 이제 1,000만 개를 찍어내기로 했었는데요. 100만 개를 만들었고 그걸 다 녹이기로 했다라는 소식입니다. Okay. Let's go on. Sorry.
When two teams are in the finals of a championship, right? Then you have to print hats and T-shirts that for both teams that say champion. Half of those are going to get thrown away.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is kind of amusing maybe that they printed out coins for this departure date for Brexit, October 31st, 2019, and then they'll have to melt them down, which means they're not wasted, but still, you have to print them just in case, right?
Absolutely. So what's an expression we want to look at here?
Yes, so October 31st, 2019, that is now a mooted departure time. A moot point is a point that doesn't really matter anymore.
Okay.
So let me give you an example. If we have a job opening here and the deadline for application is Friday, November 22nd, that's today.
Yep.
But the applicant contacts EBS tomorrow and they say, I have this amazing resume and I have these contact numbers where you can call and they have these excellent things to say about me, then we can say, well, that's great, but it's a moot point now. It's moot now because the deadline passed. So whatever you did, it doesn't make any difference now because now something else is going to happen. They printed out all of these coins, but it became moot on October 32nd. I was going to say on November 1st when Brexit got extended.
네, 그렇습니다. 고려 대상이 아니다, 고려할 가치가 없다라는 뜻의 moot가 여기서 쓰였는데요. mooted departure time이라고 했기 때문에 10월 31일이라는 이 날짜가 이제는 아무 의미가 없게 된 거죠. 브렉시트가 이행이 되지 않았기 때문에.
And it does imply that they were going to print more because they paused production in mid-October
right.
when it became clear Brexit would be extended. So when something becomes clear, let's think about the sun in the sky, right? And there are two clouds in front of the sun. You can't see it, right? So when those clouds move away, then the sun becomes clear. So think about a situation, right? If you don't know what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden, those clouds of the situation move away, then you see, this is what is going to happen now.
Absolutely. 명백해지다라는 뜻의 become clear. 여기선 과거로 it became clear라고 쓰였습니다. 처음에는 이렇게 훨씬 더 많은 기념주화를 만들 예정이었지만 점점 날짜가 임박해 오면서 안 될 것 같다라는 그런 분위기가 명백해졌다. 그래서 다 만들진 않았다 이런 뜻입니다.
One last example for you for this expression.
Okay.
If I ask you, what's going on these days? And you say, well, I quit my job. I say, oh, why did you quit your job? Well, I had asked for a raise and a promotion a few times over the last few years. And I always thought there's a chance. But then suddenly I realized it became clear I would never get that promotion, and therefore I quit. It's like the clouds in your mind moved away, and suddenly you see, you realize, and that's when things become clear.
All right. Well, let's listen to this story one more time.
1 million Brexit 50p coins have been made with the wrong date on them and will now have to be melted down, the Royal Mint has confirmed. Chancellor Sajid Javid had asked the Royal Mint to make Brexit celebration coins stamped with the date of October 31st, 2019, the mooted departure time. The Royal Mint paused production in mid-October when it became clear Brexit would be extended, but not before 1 million coins were made.
Let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
Quiz question. Another way of saying go to bed is to hit the blank. Is it number 1, hit the sack? Number 2, hit the door? Number 3, hit the nose?
짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 저자극 순한 비누 보내드릴게요. Let's listen to a song by Westlife now. This is Mandy. 자, 다음 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요. 호주 칸디닌에서 밝은 노란색을 띤 호수가 발견됐습니다. 지역 당국은요, 이 호수는 종종 색깔이 변해서 노란색 외에 분홍색, 파란색, 초록색 빛을 띠기도 한다며 이 형광색은 1년에 한 번, 이 시기에만 볼 수 있다고 밝혔는데요. Let's listen to the story.
A photographer has shared an amazing image of a bright yellow lake in Western Australia. Philip Gelling shared the photo of Statues Lake in Condonshire, 200 kilometers east of Perth, which glows yellow once a year due to an increase in bacteria and algae. At different times, the lake is known to have a range of colors including pink, green, and blue. The lake does not have an official name but is informally known as Statues Lake after a statue from local artist Kelly Browning was erected nearby. The picture was shared on Australia's Golden Outback on social media and immediately drew a slew of comments.
It looks like a magical lake. We have the picture up on our 보이는 라디오 right now.
It looks like someone took a hammer and hit a tennis ball.
So, I didn't think of that.
Right?
그러네요. 테니스 공 색깔이네요. Wow.
It's a beautiful
너무
color.
신기해요. Wow,
Isn't it?
yeah.
You never see a color like that in nature. Other than the sun, of course, but I mean with water, right?
Yeah, exactly. It almost looks like a fried egg with a very...
Oh, that's what it Yeah, it looks like breakfast.
그렇습니다. 노른자가 굉장히 큰 fried egg 같은 생각이 저는
Wow.
들었는데 이렇게 분홍색을 띠기도 한다고 합니다.
Yeah, we're looking at these pictures on Point and Radio right now.
That's amazing.
Isn't that beautiful too? Right next to the beach where you have the color, the blue color of the ocean.
I love that.
Goodness, that is gorgeous, isn't it? I wonder if it's safe to swim in.
I don't know. Would it change color if it's contaminated? Maybe.
Bacteria and algae, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's harmful. I don't know.
Yeah, all right.
Probably better to ask before you do so, yeah?
Okay.
Well, this glows yellow once a year. To glow. Well, it's an easy word to understand, right? I think most people know what the word glow means. Neon lights, they glow.
Yep.
But the reason I chose this is because people can glow as well. And we often use this about someone who is either very, very happy or very, very pregnant.
Yes.
Right? If one of your friends or your wife, this is a great expression if you're a husband with a pregnant wife, then you can say, honey, you are absolutely glowing. And that means that you have a radiance. I don't know how to explain radiance well. But
광채가 난다라는 뜻이에요.
you have this beautiful glow about you, this beautiful radiance about you.
And you can actually say, oh, I can see the pregnancy glow on someone.
Very nice.
When you're pregnant, oftentimes, your skin becomes, really good.
Oh, they call it a pregnancy glow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Because your hormones, they just, they change.
Yeah.
And most people, they get the best skin they've ever had in their lives during that time.
Is
in their
that right?
pregnancy. Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun fact. I didn't know
But I was
that.
the opposite.
Oh.
Because there's an exception where you go the other way. I had the worst skin in my life when I was pregnant.
Oh, did they call you Sue the exception?
So, yeah, I never experienced the pregnancy glow. But
That's
anyway.
too bad. Well, like I said, you can use it about someone who's looking extremely happy as well.
Yeah.
If your coworker comes into work today and they're super, super happy and they have the biggest smile on their face, you can say, well, good morning to you. What's going on? You are glowing.
아, 그래요.
Like
얼굴에서
a light bulb.
네, 빛이 나다, 광채가 나다라는 뜻은 이제 굉장히 환해 보일 때도 쓸 수 있고요. 아니면은 이제 임신 중일 때 피부가 굉장히 좋아지는 산모한테도 쓸 수 있는 표현입니다. All right, and a slew of comments came after they saw these pictures.
Of course, yeah. So this picture went online, and then there were a slew of comments to follow. So a slew of something is a large group of something. So if you say, I am looking for an English hagwon in Gangnam, I could say, oh, that should be easy to find. There is a slew of hagwons in Gangnam. Or if you're at the Han River Park and you ask me, where can I find a bicycle around here? I can say, oh, if you just walk down there a bit, there's a slew of them.
그렇습니다. 아주 많을 때 SLEU, a slew of를 쓸 수 있습니다. Let's listen to the story one more time.
A photographer has shared an amazing image of a bright yellow lake in Western Australia. Philip Gelling shared the photo of Statues Lake in Condonanshire, 200 kilometers east of Perth, which glows yellow once a year due to an increase in bacteria and algae. At different times, the lake is known to have a range of colors including pink, green, and blue. The lake does not have an official name but is informally known as Statues Lake after a statue from local artist Kelly Browning was erected nearby. The picture was shared by Australia's Golden Outback on social media and immediately drew a slew of comments.
What's the answer to the quiz, Steve?
Another way of saying go to bed is to hit the blank, and the answer is number 1, hit the sack.
네, 1번이 정답입니다. 김명신님, 이의진님, 신직수님, 2355님, 그리고 1461님 축하드립니다. 저자극 순한비누 보내드릴게요. Very quickly, Steve, what is today's expression?
Expression of the day. I used it to talk about my mom, how she outsmarted me. O-U-T-S-M-A-R-T, outsmart. It's when you're smarter than somebody else to get what you want. So my mom told me, oh yeah, you don't have to sleep, just stay up all night. I said, maybe I'll just sleep. She outsmarted me. My sisters would ask me, Steve, can you go to my bedroom and bring me the hairbrush? I would say, no, get your own hairbrush. And my sisters would say, I'll time you like on a stopwatch. And I would say, oh, okay. Go. And then they would say, 1, 2. And as soon as I left the room, they would stop. They told me this later. And then when they hear me coming back, they'd say, 15, 6. Wow, you were so fast. And I'd say, yeah, I was super fast.
누나들이 한 수 위였네요. 동생한테 동생아 저거 좀 가져와 이렇게 하지 않고 동생아 네가 이거 얼마나 빨리 가져오는지 내가 시간 재볼게 라고 했더니 스티브 선생님이 어렸을 때 누나들을 위해서 빨리 뛰어다니면서 물건을 갖다 줬다고 합니다.
Listen.
한 수 위다. Outsmart.
I grew up with 3 women in the same house outsmarting me constantly.
그랬군요. All right. Well, thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much for having me. That was a lot of fun this morning. And I want to thank Rob York once again for joining us on the show. Everybody have a great Friday, and we'll see you for the review show tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Coming up in hour 2, we have Say What and also lifestyle tips with a new guest. His name is Bruno. We'll get to the second hour with Pixie Lott. Cry Me Out.